Hello, my name is Jessica Perdue. I am the program facilitator for OptEd Plus, and I'm here today to tell you about our program and the materials that we created for your students. I wanted to take a moment to go over our agenda. First, OptEd Plus is actually short for Obesity Prevention Education, so that's why we're going to touch base on childhood obesity. And other than what is OptEd Plus, we're also going to talk about who we are, what we do, and how we do it. And to address the elephant in the room, no, not more work for teachers. We hope to kind of show you how this can be a mutually beneficial program, whereas we take a little bit of work off your shoulders and you get this great product to give to your students. And then in doing that, we're also going to give you some resources and support to make sure that this is a successful program for both OptEd Plus and for the teachers. So some may believe that obesity is only a United States or a Western world problem, but in fact it has become a global epidemic. So much so that the World Health Organization issued a declaration that global action is needed. And in this declaration, there's this quote that I pulled out from it that just really blew my mind. They state that overweight and obesity are linked to more deaths worldwide than underweight. Globally, there are more people who are obese than underweight. And just considering, the images you see when you think of malnutrition and lack of access, the image in your head is like a very underweight child, but it's just crazy to think that it's becoming more prevalent that overweight and obesity is actually, and access to the wrong types of foods or access to too much food is actually becoming the global epidemic. Bringing it back to the United States, childhood obesity has been on the U.S. government's radar for the past 30 years as a healthy people leading health objective. That means always since Healthy People 2000, 2010, 2020, and now the 2030 Healthy People Initiative. And you can see why. Obesity is the second leading cause of preventable death in the United States. It's estimated that 300,000 deaths per year are due to the obesity epidemic. And it accounts for nearly 21% of all healthcare spending. Now, these are statistics to obesity as a whole, not just childhood obesity, but children who are obese are 5 times more likely to become obese adults. So that's kind of why we have to look at both sides of this objective. So I started this initiative, the OptEd Plus initiative, because I once struggled as an obese child. And I wanted to help children break the cycle of obesity. And in doing so, obviously, I started doing my research like anybody else would, starting a new program. And, little did I know how prevalent and alarming the trajectory of childhood obesity was. I mean, this shocked me. And you can see right here in the statistics, I'll go over a few of them. In 2021, 32.1% of children in America are either overweight or obese, 32%. And why is that number alarming? Because since 2016, that rate has increased 1% year over year. So if we keep on that trajectory, I mean, we are going to be pretty much 100%, in our lifetime. So, but prior to 2016, the rates only increased 1/4 of percentage year over year on average. So since 2016, it's nearly, quadrupled, you can say, on the increasing rates. And the CDC predicts that the BMI rates nearly doubled in the age range, in the 2 to 19 age range during the pandemic. So not only did we have, the struggles of managing this epidemic before the pandemic, to use lack of a better term, but before COVID, COVID, we do have to take that into account. There's lingering effects. We all joke about the COVID-19, the extra pounds we put on, but for children, it really did. There's studies that show that it really did affect them in that way as well. So I'll conclude this section by speaking a bit to Prince William County. On the left, you'll see the enrollment by diversity. That's Prince William County Schools enrollment. And then on the right, I have some statistics of why this is really important. So in public health, we talk a lot about health disparities. And what that is, it's when one population is more negatively affected than another population. So in the case of childhood obesity, there is a tendency for African American and Hispanic youth to have a significantly higher rate of obesity than their white counterparts. And Prince William County schools are 35% Hispanic and 20% African American. So with that said, it's almost like Prince William County is this poster child where we could really address these disparities with programs like this. And Prince William County, although we have our childhood obesity rate is right below the national average, although for our low-income children, it's actually much higher than the national average. And then in 2019, the Prince William Health District, they put out a plan for the next few years. And in that plan, they identified childhood obesity as a leading priority for them because they went out and did a health check survey of the community, and 38% of the community, the sample of the community responded that obesity is a significant public health issue. So clearly there is a need to address obesity in our youth. There are great federal programs like the School Nutrition Initiative that's really been pushing to get the lunches to be healthier and have a lot better access to the healthy food for children, and physical activity mandates with recess and PE. But ironically, as a school-based program, they lack an educational component. So that's where we insert OptEd Plus. The OptEd program's mission is to lay a foundation for a healthier tomorrow by preventing obesity in today's youth. And we do this by creating impactful and engaging health education opportunities. So what is OptEd Plus? Well, first we'll start with who we serve. We are serving the Prince William County public school system for the elementary students K through 5th. And regardless of their weight status, their income status, there is no requirements to be in the program. It's open to all students in the elementary school. And we are a grant recipient of the Virginia Foundation of Healthy Youth. So what do? We provide turnkey obesity prevention lesson plans and activities, and we provide them to all the Prince William County elementary schools. And what this looks like is, and I'll show you some examples, it's a pre-prepared lesson plan. It's in a little suitcase, and if it's measuring, it comes with measuring cups. If it's worksheets, it comes with the worksheets. Something where teachers can just grab and take to their classrooms to teach obesity prevention. And we want to do it in a way that it also includes other SOLs, so math, reading, while getting this obesity prevention education, so that you can stay on your targets with the required SOLs. It kind of doesn't have to compete with other time. And where is these services provided? In your classrooms. If you get creative, you can do it out on the recess, on the playground, do it in the gym, but ultimately it happens in the school during school hours. So OptEd Plus has two main goals, and I actually consider them two different phases of the program. The first goal is to create impactful lesson plans and learning activities on obesity prevention topics to engage the K through 5 demographic. And the second goal is to increase obesity prevention education instruction, quantity and quality in current elementary curriculum. So goal 1 has been achieved. We had a task force of community leaders, teachers, healthcare providers that are experts in this field to really kind of develop a curriculum that is really tailored for the Prince William County demographic and and educationally sound, and to also include the SOLs like we were speaking about earlier. And in doing that, we also did a focus group with Prince William County students, elementary students, to ensure that the engagement was there, that they found the lessons plan to be impactful to them. So since we kind of are past that point there, we're really going to focus on our second goal, and that's where we bring this program, we bring all those materials we created into the schools, and we get it in front of the children. I wanted to take a brief moment to go over our objectives for this particular goal. You can consider these as steps or measurements needed to meet this goal. Our first step was to get into the schools and to survey the teachers. We wanted to ensure that this program worked for you. In doing so, we identified the need for professional development opportunities, particularly in the form of CEUs. So we have launched a professional development classes, the CEU certified classes on the topics of nutrition and dietary behavior. Also, our next objective was to have 20% of non-PE teachers to integrate at least one Opt-Ed Plus activity into their lesson plans by the end of this semester. One way of doing that, a necessary step that we had to take to get that to come to fruition, was to ensure that all schools have their materials and are ready to launch. And we actually just finished delivering the materials to the last school this week. So we are ready to go and to get the boots on the ground and to get this program up and running. So the last two objectives were short-term, either just happened or is happening, and these two are a little more of our long-term objectives. This is where the children start really getting involved. Our first one is ultimately we want at least 10% of the children, our participants' families, to notice a positive change in their child's behavior, attitude, or general awareness towards developing healthful habits by the end of this year. And we hope that our lesson plans, our activities, really start making a change in the children. And then it becomes almost like a family level intervention, because they are having these conversations with their families. We equip them with the tools and skills to do so, and ultimately perhaps even change their families' health behaviors. And very long term is to plateau the increasing rate of childhood obesity in Prince William County. Plateau doesn't sound like a very strong word, but as you saw in the previous slides, to simply slow the rate or to even plateau it to a point of no growth would be a huge achievement in obesity in general. And ultimately, the goal of the program, doing this through quality health education, giving them the tools to take this beyond school and to develop lifelong habits, is how we would really meet this objective. Okay, let's take a little breather here. That was a lot of information, and it may still be going through your head. What's my role in this? Where do I come from? How much work is this going to be for me? And I promised I was going to address that. So over the next few slides, I'll show you exactly what this program looks like in your classroom. So here it is. I know, a little anticlimactic. But Opt-Ed Plus is really ultimately a briefcase of pre-prepared turnkey lesson plans of Opt-Ed topics. And for example, this one is sugar by the grams. In the next slide, I'll kind of show you all the different topics we have available and how to use them. So let's continue with the example of sugar by the grams. Let's imagine if, for whatever reason, you need a substitute. And normally you would have worksheet packet available for them that you can just grab. But instead, you can either have a Opt-Ed lesson plan package waiting for them in your classroom, or simply request us, the substitute teacher, grab it from the front desk the morning of. This package would include worksheets, a measuring activity on grams with materials, a visual on how many grams of sugar are in students' favorite drinks, and how to read a nutrition label, and so forth. So by simply having the resources readily available, a missed instructional day can be turned into a math, reading, and measuring health education opportunity. And we've really worked hard in our task force of teachers and the school board members to ensure that these lesson plans incorporate other SOLs. We wanted this to be an enhancement, not something that would replace other instructional time. So OptEd Plus provided all schools with 5 briefcases, so 5 different topics. If you get through all 5 within halfway through the year, please, I'll give you our email address. We would love to provide more, but if you do all 5, you're a superstar, and that'll be fantastic, and we will get you more if you crave more. But in addition to the sugar by the grams, we also have nutrition label and food marketing awareness. That one's a really fun one. It has lots of logos, recognizable logos that the students get excited about. We talk about what fat-free means versus sugar-free, what it doesn't mean, how sometimes it's purely marketing and not an actual factual statement, and how to find out whether it's factual or marketing. You can tell I get excited about these. I particularly am excited about the sugar by the grams, where I didn't know what 1 gram looked like until I was able to visualize it in a baggie, and that 26 grams is practically a Ziploc bag worth of sugar in your soda. I almost think they put it in grams, so no one really knows exactly, as opposed to tablespoons or something we're a little more familiar with, but I digress. So we also have comparison, making smart swaps. We have the balancing act, addressing stagnant behavior, and then we have holiday activities. This is a really great alternative to holiday parties that you may have, kind of putting a health spin on them. For example, in the upper left-hand corner, we have a meal planning activity for around Thanksgiving time, and what a healthy Thanksgiving plate may look like. Help us help you help them. And in a room full of teachers, in case I use the commas incorrectly, I'll just say it was part of the joke, hence the meme. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but here are just some opportunities I thought OptEd Plus lesson plans could be easily inserted into your day when you have a substitute. Half days where instructional time is cut short, or you just need an activity to fill an hour or so here or there. Holiday themed activities such as the Thanksgiving activity. It could be a Valentine's Day candy. Halloween's a great opportunity to talk about the OptEd type topics. As I said a bit earlier, we do integrate the SOLs so that it can be used for everyday use. If you have a measuring or math SOL, you pick that up. It helps you kind of integrate 2 lessons at once. In the science lab is fantastic. I vividly remember my science teacher, this may have been middle school, but burning peanuts so we could count how many calories and how long it took to burn versus another item that burned very quickly. And that's something that really stuck with me. So activities like this kind of put it in perspective. During snack time, reading nutritional labels during snack times, or doing a worksheet while they have their snacks. Or really anytime you could use a lesson plan that you didn't have to create yourself. We all know teachers are overworked, and this could help even just every once in a while ease a little bit of that workload, and just have a lesson plan that you didn't have to prepare for your classroom. So why does OptEd Plus work? OptEd Plus is based on a educational-based health belief model. I'll break that down a bit for you. That means that our lesson plans address perceived notions of health, like how susceptible a child is to becoming obese, or how severe their current condition is. Perhaps they don't understand at what point am I overweight, and at what point am I considered obese? Am I obese or overweight now? They may not know. Depending on their cultural norms, their family may feel that different sizes are accepted differently. Also, they'll learn how to identify various other barriers to health, like access or cultural norms, which you touched based on just previously. So how do we get this messaging to the children? This is kind of our 5-step process that we used in order to put this program out. First, we tailored the lesson plans, the curriculum. We tailored it to the Prince William County demographic, and we created it by using a community task force, meaning people who live within this community and understand the specific struggles or barriers to health that some of our populations may face. We then evaluated these lesson plans with a focus group comprised of the target population, students of Prince William County. And the lesson plans take place in a convenient setting for the participants. This is really important for access. And we wanted to ensure the confidence of providers, that's you, the teachers, through professional development, training, and support. We'll talk a little bit later about how this would not work without you, the teachers. And then as a part of this OptEd Plus is part of a comprehensive ecological approach, meaning this plus the nutrition program, plus the physical activity program, maybe their primary care physicians are also giving them some guidance as a whole community-focused approach. This is just a part of it, but together this kind of bridges the gap between mandates and requirements and them actually choosing, let's say, fruit or a healthy option because they understand and they're educated to do so. They're given the skills to do so versus being mandated and there's nothing else available to them. So why are we here today? Why are you here every day? It's to benefit the children. So let's talk about a few of those benefits to the population that we're serving. Through this program, children will learn how to make mindful decisions when it comes to their health. Better physical health leads to increased productivity and mental health stability. Through education, children are better equipped to break the cycle of socioeconomic hardships. We're shaping tomorrow's generation because today's children become tomorrow's adults. And education is a shield against subpar messaging in the media, food marketing, and culture norms and other barriers to health. I think that one's really important, especially nowadays where we're just so bombarded with media messages, that education helps you form your own opinion and understand that you are being marketed to, that you are being pushed on a topic when you know facts from fiction. We created the program with teachers in mind because we know the only way this program will succeed is with teacher buy-in. I really hope you are as excited as I am about utilizing these resources in your classroom. All I ask is that you give it a try. Pick one up, check it out, and get comfortable with the content. That way, when you are in a pinch, there's no hesitation to reach for one of these. And because we know how vital teachers are to this program, we wanted to provide you with support and resources. That way it's mutually beneficial. We want to help you help us. First, as I suggested before, check out the materials before you need them. You can check them out and just sign them and send them out. You don't even have to use them in your class before checking them out. We are going to begin scheduling coffee break sessions, kind of like a lunch and learn, but depending on what time is best for your school, maybe a coffee and learn, just to answer any questions once you kind of get a feel for the program. We also have a support line. Feel free to email us. Like I said, if you're running low on any of the materials, anything breaks, a suitcase breaks, or you used all the materials and you would love more, if for any reason, please give us an email, give us a shout out. We are happy to support you in those ways. We also have a Facebook group. That's going to be mostly for teachers. We're going to put some information out there if we have a new lesson plan coming out. If you want to share your experience with other teachers, let them know how great it is and how much time it saved you. That would be fantastic. And then you have a wellness committee who we worked very closely with here in Prince William County. They're very aware of the program. They would be happy to support you as well. And it's just another way to get back to us or to utilize them and their resources. They're always happy to help. Your school materials are located in the storage room behind your nurse's office. So if you do want to check that out, there is a sign-up sheet there. You just sign them in and out. That way we just know who the last one is who has them in case they happen not to make it back into the closet. But whatever kind of system your school works out, but that's typically the easiest way. But be sure we have some samples in the back. I appreciate you attending, and be sure to check it out. Thank you.